All right, good morning. So today we are starting parallel lines and transversals. Parallel lines, hopefully we are familiar with from last year. So we know that parallel lines are two lines that do not intersect. The key here that we're adding this year is that they have to be in the same plane. As opposed to skew lines, which are lines that do not intersect, but they are not in the same plane. So if you look at the box, the picture right here, we have a couple of examples. Just like lines, planes can be parallel as well. So if you have two planes that move in the same direction, they're parallel and they will never cross. So if we look at this example, we look at the block of cheese, right? They've got some points labeled for us. It's a 3D block. So we've got some planes, we've got some lines, and we've got some segments. The first question asks us to find all the segments that are parallel to JP. So if I find points J and P, that's right there. Remember we said parallel lines move in the same direction. They do not touch the one we have, and they're in the same plane. So the key that you need to remember is that they move in the same direction. So again, shortcut, parallel lines move in the same direction. So if we look at the lines that we just highlighted, that's L to R, and K to Q. All right, so for skew lines, we said they cannot cross, but they have to be in a different plane. So basically they don't cross and they don't move in the same direction. So skew line to KL, let's see. I need a line that's in a different direction but does not cross it. So there and there. So again, skew, it's a different direction. But doesn't cross. So this always happens when your lines are in different planes and they do not move in the same direction. All right, so the last one asks us to find a plane that is parallel to PQR. So again, we said 3 points make a plane. So PQR is down there. I need another plane that moves in the same direction. So if I look at my little cheese block, the bottom will be parallel to the top. It looks like I forgot to write the answer to this one. So again, PR and PQ were our skew lines. For our parallel plane, again, we're going to want to list 3 points because it takes 3 points to define a plane. So we go JKL. All right, so we have another example for you to work on your own. Same thing, go through, find all of your skew and parallel lines, and go from there. Okay, so our next new word, transversal. The easiest way to think of a transversal is that it is a line that passes through two other lines. So if we look at the picture in the next box, we notice we have two lines here, and then a third line going right here. So T hits both lines Q and R. So T, this is our transversal. Whenever we have our transversal, we might be asked to describe angle pairs. So this is similar to what we were doing last time with vertical angles and linear pairs. We just need to kind of identify where the angles are in relation to each other. And so here we have a list of the different ways we can describe the angles. So you'll notice that several terms show up on multiple occasions. All right, so we have interior and exterior. We have consecutive and alternate. And then the one guy that's by itself is corresponding. So if you look at the picture on the right, interior is inside, right? It's in between the two main lines. Exterior is on the outside, so it's outside of the two main lines. So when it's telling you which ones are the interior angles, we notice 3, 4, 5, and 6 are on the inside. We notice that 1, 2, 8, and 7 are on the outside, so those are our exterior angles. Consecutive means that the angles are on the same side of the transversal. So you notice 4 and 5 are on the same size, and then 3 and 6 are on the same side. Alternate angles are on opposite side of the transversal. So we notice 3 and 5, right? 3 is on the right-hand side. 5 is on the left-hand side. 4 and 6. 4 is on the left-hand side. 5 is on the right-hand side. So that's the idea with those types of angles. Corresponding is the one that's sometimes a little bit harder to see. So what I'm going to do is draw sort of a separate picture here. So corresponding angles are in the same position within each set. So where I have the 1 marked here, think of that like the upper left position. The 5 is in the same spot, but it's on the other line. So when you're picking these out, try to find your alternate angles, your consecutive angles, your exterior angles, your interior angles first. And if it doesn't fit any of those, then go with corresponding if you're not sure. Here is an example. If we look at this picture, we need to basically identify all the angle pairs. First one says find 1 and 5. So here's 1, here's 5. Our transversal is the one that passes 2 lines. I notice that they are on opposite sides of the transversal, so these angles would be alternate. And they're both outside of the 2 other lines, right? Because the middle of the 2 lines is here. So these would be alternate exterior. Six and 7. Notice they're both on the same side of the transversal, so those would be consecutive. And they're in the middle of the 2 other lines, So these would be interior. So notice we always want to give two classifications, with the one exception is if they're corresponding. So when I look at angles 2 and 4, they're both on the same side, but one's in the middle and one's on the out. So I can't call it interior, I can't call it exterior. Because they're on the same side, I can call it corresponding. So again, this is the only one that I can use a single word to describe. And finally, 2 and 6. 2 is here, 6 is here. Okay, they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So they are alternate. They're both in the inside portion in the middle, so that's interior. All right, so here's some more examples for you to try. All right, so we've got one more to work, which is basically practicing finding the transversal. So what we're going to do is look at the angles they gave us and figure out which line hits both of those angles. So for angles 1 and 3, here's 1, here's 3, I need the line that connects the two angles. So it's going to be H. For 5 and 6, it's going to be K. And then for 2 and 6, you'll notice that it's L. All right, that's really all there is to it. Here's an example so you can do a little bit more practice. And then we've got the answers for all the practice examples here to make sure you are doing them right. That's all for today. I will see you next time.